What's up, y'all? You're checking out Living Corporate on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell in that corner so you keep up to date with all the dope content we're creating here, driving real talk in the corporate world.
This, that, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter unless you are like being like, this is how I add unique value that is, I'll say, less interchangeable than other types of value. And so I know there's like a lot in there and probably didn't get to all parts of your question, but like what you were saying, just I always like to center on, having people take a step back and be like, well, okay, what is the value to that person who's going to be paying money, whether this is like a multi-million-dollar recurring contract, or this is something where someone's just paying for their Spotify subscription. What is the value that you are providing to the user to make sure that this is really providing value? Because there's a reason why Spotify overtook Pandora, because it's not just that the thing exists, it's that somebody is providing value better to the customer than that other product. And obviously marketing and other things there, but over time, that value piece wins.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's the experience that you're delivering. Like, it's gonna resonate with users, and can over time even beat out a bunch of marketing, right? Because ultimately, if you say, well, look, I mean, I just remember all the jokes, even about just Spotify versus Apple on its playlisting, on its music recommendations, right? So it's like, there'd be the memes about how Spotify, I looked at the last 1 million songs you listened to, and I looked at your ancestry and figured out this perfect recommendation. And there's a joke about like, why are these Spotify recommendations always so great compared to Apple that are just kind of okay? Yeah. I think something else that you said earlier, though, it resonates with me too, about like product sense. And correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're saying product sense is really more about, it's more intuitive. It's more intuitive and more of an art than a science. There's a science to it as well, but like the ability to be able to look at something and like ask the questions to make sure that like whatever this product is actually going to be create the value and experience, the desired value and experience for customers. I think it's hard. It's going to be a challenging season, right? It was already a challenging season for thousands of people. I want to say latest numbers like 7,000 folks have been laid off already this year, across from Google and Discord and a bunch of other firms. And you see the CEO of Google talking about more layoffs and a real double and triple down on generative AI. I get concerned about like how much of like what recipes, what sauce are we losing in leveraging AI in the ways that we are. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I think that if people could kind of say, look, if we could make as an example, like, look, if we can make like an A+ burger, if we can make an A+ burger and make like 50 of them a day for $5, or we can make a B- burger and make 5,000 of them for $2, well, we're gonna probably choose that B- burger. And I think some of it is, I think that's what we're gonna be seeing. I mean, when you see like with Duolingo, like we're seeing with their large language models, and we're seeing a bunch of folks getting laid off, like contractors being cut from those positions. When you say and you talk about thinking about ways that you can provide differentiated value for users, like what examples kind of come to mind for you that you're like, okay, this is a great example of something that can't really be usurped or undermined by a generative AI tool?
I don't think there's anything inherently safe from generative AI. I think generative AI becomes a collaborator. And I think that, taking another step back, we're in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution. People have been talking about how this is going to impact jobs. Historically, we've seen this trend of, job loss, new jobs get created. There's a lot of debate about it with AI. Yes, there will be new jobs created, but like, what is that ratio of loss to gain, and what new industries will be created. And some of this is also going to depend on like regulation. Like, are there going to be, people required to watch fleets of cars, automated vehicles? Is that a new role? And like, how many people do you need to do that? Probably not as many as you need Uber drivers. So like, what does that do? And I think it's a question of, when you even see things like when we put things on the internet, you had a bunch of people who were like typists, right? They're just typing all day, like taking notes, that sort of thing. And it was kind of like, oh, well, now everyone could just kind of do it for themselves, because if you can get everyone in the office a computer, you don't need this like clunky typewriter, all this other stuff. But the reason why we have people put Microsoft Office on their resumes today is because once upon a time, not everyone actually knew how to use Microsoft Office. When I was in high school, we actually like took like typing classes that were on a computer. They showed us where to put everything, where everything was in the Office suite. When I was in engineering, I studied industrial and operations engineering. So, there was a lot of statistics, a lot of data. So that also meant getting really phenomenal in Excel. My Excel skills probably are not as phenomenal as they were back then. But sure, those were things where it's like, those were skills because not everyone could do them. You really actually had to understand that to really be able to be that person to be like, oh, I got the insight from the data. Oh, I can put Office on my resume, because not everybody has that skill. And I think that, now it's like, hey, if you're putting Office on your resume, what century are you in, right? Yeah, like, I mean, you and I probably feel like a little offended when people are like, yeah, that from like the late like 1900s. We're like, whoa, slow down. But like, that's the honest truth now, right? Like, that's like putting that on your resume is like a late 1900s thing.